Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing on today? Yes, I'm smiling. I'm super duper excited. And I'm fangirling over Michelle Major. Guys, we get to hang out with her on today. She is going to share a little bit. She may spill a little bit of tea talking about her latest release, The Front Porch Club. Michelle, welcome to the cafe, my friend. And I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself to the people today.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me, Angela. I am so excited to be hanging out with you all today. I actually am in Colorado where it is super rainy, which we don't get very often. So it's kind of fun, but I feel like this is such a bright, sunny space that I am really excited to be here. I write romance bordering on women's fiction, and the latest, the Front Porch Club, although it is a standalone, it is book 5 in the Carolina Girls series, set in the fictional town of Magnolia, North Carolina,
Yes.
which I would love to live in myself. It is sort of I kind of created my perfect Stars Hollow Gilmore Girl-esque town on the coast.
Yes.
Um, so I am just really excited to be with you.
I love it. I love it. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for hanging out with us on today. They are showing you a love. We have Jennifer Wright hanging out with her. Hello, Jennifer. Thank you for joining us. We have Veronica Lockett hanging out with us. We have Myra Cook hanging out with us. Oh my goodness, we have Antoinette Gates that is hanging out with us as well. Guys, and thank you so much. You guys already know what to do. Like, tag, and share. Tell a friend to come on down to the cafe and join us as we talk with Michelle Major for her new release. And I'm sorry about that if you guys can't see it, but The Front Porch Club. Now, Michelle, I want to talk about two things before we kind of get into the story. I love a good title and I love a cute cover. I love a good cover. Okay. So I want to ask you a little bit about this title, The Front Porch Club. Now, if you can spill a little bit of tea, was this your original working title or this title just kind of evolved? Tell us a little bit about that title.
It was so, which I will admit, I have going on 60 books published now, and I
Awesome.
am terrible with titles. Normally, titles do not come to me until sort of later in the process, and I go back and forth with my editor. But this one, I love a good front porch. I don't live in a house with a big wraparound front porch, but that has always been my dream. It's probably from I grew up in an older home and my mom had me mop the front porch every Saturday morning, as one does. And I'm not sure why, but I did because she told me to.
Right?
But I love the idea. This book, when it came to me, and I had the 3 heroines, and it's as much about friendship as the romance. And so, I had them hanging out on the front porch because I think that's just, what people do in the neighborhoods when the weather turns good. And so, yeah, the Front Porch Club, they formed their own little unlikely trio club. So yeah, it was
Right.
a working title, and I'm so happy my publisher kept it, and I think the art department knocked it out of the park because with those rocking chairs and the flowers,
Yes.
it's a place. Wait, I gotta get it. Oh, that I want to go visit. So
I love right. You are exactly right with the title and that lovely cover. And like I said, I'm so there for the rocking chair as well. You could think about them having a nice cold beverage or what have you, and they're on the front porch and they're swaying back and forth, all that good stuff. I love that. So that's super cool that was the original or is the original working title, and they kind of stayed with that as well. Now, I want to ask you a little bit about like your stories as a whole. You have stories that focus on hope, humor, and a place to call home. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think that's something I take from my personal experience. I say I'm a Midwesterner at heart. I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, and Northern Kentucky, and I don't think I think I've lived in Colorado longer than I lived in the Midwest, but I promise I can spot a Midwesterner a mile away. So, but I knew, we had visited um, when I was younger. We vacationed a lot in the Outer Banks. We vacationed in the mountains, and I knew I wanted to make the mountains my home. So I basically packed up my car after college, drove out. Colorado, they were the first mountains I hit. So I got a job on a dude ranch, and it became really important for me. I didn't have family out here, didn't have friends to sort of make my way. And I think that is something that has remained a theme in all of my books, because I think that's really interesting, is what we take from our family of origin, the family we grew up with, and how we stick with them, or we find our own place. So I love exploring that.
I love that. I love that. Okay, now Michelle, I'm a Carolina girl, so I love books that take place in the Carolinas. Okay, I love that. I love that. And guys, once you read the story, or if you've read any of the Carolina Girls series or what have you, okay, first of all, you're gonna love Magnolia. Okay, who's not gonna love Magnolia? But what is it about the Carolinas that you focus some of your books in North Carolina?
I think it's a really special place. So how it started for me, though, was I had come off of a series set in Colorado. It was an 11-book series set in the fictional town of Crimson that I really loved, but I wanted something different. I wanted to go someplace different. And what is more different from the Rocky Mountains than the coast and the ocean? And I think North Carolina, I mean, I've visited the Low Country and Hilton Head and South Carolina a lot too, but I think North
Yeah.
Carolina is so special because, it's that mix of the coastal towns, the Outer Banks, a little bit, that whole area. Plus there's Asheville and the mountains. And I think
Yes.
it's just such a rich area that I love it. And it's southern, but it's not quite like steeped in the deep south to where I felt like I could do it justice, having spent a lot of time there as a kid, in a way that, going to Louisiana or Alabama, I'm not sure I could have done, but I wanted some of that southern influence as well.
Well, I love that. I love that. And thank you so much as well. Guys, if you are just joining us, we are hanging out with USA Today best-selling author Michelle Major. Guys, her latest release that is hot off the press, The Front Porch Club. It is live and in color. It is available. And of course, we'll definitely be sharing with you a little bit later of how you can get your hands on a copy of this amazing, amazing story. Now, we talked about the title a little bit, Michelle, and of course, they are giving you cover love already in the comment section as well. But I definitely want to ask you, tell us about this cover. And we've mentioned it a little bit before about the rocking chairs and all of that stuff. But did you give them ideas of what you wanted to see in this cover? How did this cover come about? Because like you said, with the title and the cover, it flows.
Yeah, thank you. And I did. So the front porch where they all hang out on is that, and one of the characters who owns that home, Shauna, was a secondary character in my Christmas book, The Wish List. So I had a very clear image of what her house looked like and what that front porch looked like. So I did go and a lot of it, again, like I said, I grew up in an older fixer upper house, 3 stories, big porch, but it was in Ohio. So I did a lot of research on, Carolina architecture and what houses look like and the flowers. So I do a lot of times, I mean, I can't take credit for it because the art department did such a great job, but I definitely gave, ideas of, the rocking chairs and the
Yes.
flowers and the color and the brightness of it. And so I gave my editor a lot of images, and then we kind of, we go back and forth. And sometimes, there's a lot of back and forth where, it maybe doesn't work. But I think this one, I don't think there were very many changes from the get-go, because it was just, I think I got it and I was like, ooh, that's
Like,
it.
this is it.
That's
I
it.
love that. I love that. And guys, you are able to see it in the Kindle version as well as the print copy, what the cover looks like as well. I love that. I love that. Now, can you tell us a little bit about, of course, there are other books that make up the Carolina Girls series or what have you. And as Michelle stated, you can read it as a standalone. But what inspired this story, the Front Porch Club? What inspired this particular story?
So I knew when I had introduced Shauna, one of the main characters, I knew I wanted her. She had such an interesting backstory with one of my previous heroines, Hero. She actually was friends
Mhm.
with him and brought him to town. And there was a character. So the Carolina Girls is a series that's a spin-off of my original Magnolia, North Carolina series, the Magnolia Sisters. And there was a character in the first book, the Magnolia Sisters, named Annalise Haverford. And she was the real queen bee, mean girl, and went toe to toe with
Yes.
that heroine. And even though she was only on like one scene, she just stuck with me. And I think a lot of us love watching people get knocked down and then them having to rebuild. I think that makes a really meaty story. So I had an idea for, I knew Annalise and Shauna had kids about the same age. So I thought, I'm gonna bring her back and kind of give her, I don't know why she stuck with me. Some characters do. And I knew I wanted to give her a redemption story. So it took a little while, and she had to be not hit rock bottom, but that was the impetus
I
of it.
love it. And Michelle, let me just tell you guys, if you have not read the book, and this is not kind of like, it's not like a spoiler, what have you. Let me just tell you, Michelle hits you with a headliner in like the first chapter, and you get to see Annalise have like a dose of, being brought down a notch, and it was just like, wow. I mean, it truly captures you in from the very beginning. I just want to let you know that, Michelle, that yes, like right in that very first chapter at the coffee shop, it was like,
Well, and I think
okay,
it's a small town where everybody knows each other, and so,
right.
when you get knocked down in a small town, you're on stage for it. Like,
Yes,
there's
yes,
no hiding or going to the Target on the other side of town where nobody's gonna recognize you.
right,
You're in for
right.
it.
Oh my goodness. And even the part at the beginning where, like people standing in line and it's like something embarrassing is happening. And it's like, you know what? This is really happening right now. This is
Yep,
really
it's
happening right
happening.
now. Like you said, it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody. It's just, yeah. I love that. I love that. Guys, if you're just joining us, we are hanging out with Michelle Major. Her latest release, The Front Porch Club. It is available now. We will definitely be sharing with you of how you can get your hands on a copy of this amazing, amazing story. And of course, if you have a question or two for Michelle, put it in the comment section. We'll be sure to include you as well. Now, Michelle, you did mention some of the characters in this particular story. And so for this book, The Front Porch Club, what, of course, some of the characters are reoccurring characters or what have you, but for this story, what came first for you? Was it the characters or was it the plot?
For me, it is almost always the characters.
Okay.
I like to start with who these people are, what makes them tick, what's happened, and then I kind of run through, okay, now what kind of journey do they need to go on?
Okay.
What are they like? For me, a lot of times it starts with the internal, like
Mm.
how do I want them to transform? I think that is very important in, romance and women's fiction, that we want to see people come out better and different and learn some lessons. And I think, for me as a reader, and I hope as a writer, I don't take for granted the trust that readers put in me, that, I might put these characters through the ringer, but it's going to be a hopeful ending. So that is what I start with. And then, I build the plot around that. So
Wow, I love that. I love that. Now, let's get into the characters a little bit. Okay, I'm going to say a character, and if you can kind of describe them a little bit for us in a nutshell, or share what it is that you want to share about those characters. And of course, we got to start with Annalise. Okay, how would you describe Annalise in like 5 words or less? Like, real quick, how would you describe her? But
I would
if you need
describe
more, you can add more.
her as, um, sharp, a little brittle,
Oh,
a little
yeah.
tarnished, but a steel magnolia, and real loyal. I think that is something that surprised me about her as a
Yeah.
character and as a friend is, she had that sort of brittle outer shell, but once she was on somebody's side, she was like your ride or die.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And one thing about her, it was like, even though like on the inside, I mean, and of course, like, when she was alone, or when she trusted an individual enough to kind of feel vulnerable, that she can kind of let loose and be a little vulnerable with them. But other than that, she was gonna hold her head up high, and she look, and she was gonna make it do what it do. She was like, okay, this horrible thing has happened to me. I still gotta live in this town. I still gotta make it work, or what
Right.
have you. But yeah, I Annalise, yeah, Annalise is one that it's like she pull at your heartstrings at sometimes, and then other moments you be like, did she just say that?
Yeah,
Like,
slap
even
it a
at the
little bit.
beginning, remember when she kept calling it a oh Lord, not an apartment. I can't believe I just went blank.
Oh, yeah,
Oh
the
Lord,
carriage house.
the carriage house.
Yes, she
I
wanted to
was like,
make it
Michelle,
more than it was.
Michelle, I was laughing so hard because even, it was like, no, the carriage house. She was like, when you talked about, and everybody, there was like, the apartment.
Yeah, apartment above the garage. That's where
Right,
you're
right,
going.
So I love how even in the different, like, even when she had to get the job and stuff like that, she come up with a whole nother description that
Right,
makes
right.
it fit her
He was
world. So I love
cleaning
that
his
about her.
house, but to her, she was the house manager.
Yes, yes, I love that. I love that. Tell us a little bit about Shauna's character.
Yeah, so Shauna is, I mean, in a lot of ways, very like the opposite of Annalise. She was, gentle and very like the quintessential mother, where she made all the, the organic breads and did everything
Yeah.
right. But she was also, she's been through some stuff in her life, and she was a
Mhm.
survivor. She was a pull herself up by her bootstraps, So I think they had
Yes.
that in common.
Yes, yes, I definitely would say that about her as well. And of course, we got to talk about good old Megan Banks. And I love that episode. I'm not, of course, guys, we want you to read the book, so I'm not going to give too much away. But when she had when they told her about her job, I'm just going to say that
Right.
that whole. I love the way that was written or what have you, and I love the way that with each character you created them in a way, and you shared their backstory in a way where you was able to connect with them and have an understanding of why they was the way that they are, or what have you too. But tell us a little bit about Megan Banks.
So Megan is I think it was in this story, which was really fun, that I mean, I think that woman came into this with almost little to no self-esteem. You know, she just she'd let her parents and her mother, you know, judge her, and then
Yeah.
the principal, and she was just kind of a doormat for a lot of
Yeah.
people. And it was through this friendship with these women that, you know, she was able to kind of find her voice and
Yeah.
find herself. And I do want to mention, so I've gotten a lot of feedback, and I love getting reader messages and emails, but Megan's story is kind of a to be continued
Oh,
in the next installment of the Carolina Girls series. And I did that purposely because when you're writing three different female characters, I felt like she was a step or two behind
yes.
Shauna or Annalise, and I really wanted to honor, you know, her kind of slow burn romance that she has, and
Yes.
I wanted her to get a happily ever after when she was in a place to, to receive it, and to realize she deserved it, because that was really important to me. So she is a dot dot dot, and then she has her own novella coming in September that will finish off her story, and I hope that readers will love seeing her, kind of blossom into her own.
I love that. And guys, Michelle Major, she is spilling a little bit of tea. You just
Yeah.
heard a little bit about Megan's story. So thank you for some tea spilling. I love that. I love that. And of course, before we talk about some other stuff, we gotta mention Flynn and Walker, the country singer. Tell us a little bit about those men, those characters in this story.
Yeah, so that was, I think when you write, for me, when I always start with female character, well, I almost always start with female characters because it's very important for me to, get into their heads and their hearts. And so then you want to create, a guy, a hero who deserves them, who is sort of at their level. So, I love doing Walker, the country star, and I was a big fan of the show Nashville back in the day. So,
Yeah.
I hope he had, some of those vibes. And then Flynn was just, we were watching the Amazon Prime version of the Jack Reacher shows.
Uh-huh.
So it wasn't like the Tom Cruise. I can't think of the actor's name, but he is a big man, like a big man. And so, and kind of like that tender heart, but sort of a tough exterior. So that's where the inspiration for Flynn came from.
I love that. I love that. And Antoinette Gates said country singer. All right.
Right.
Yes, Antoinette. Yes, I love that. I love that. Well, I wanted to, oh, guys, of course, she's going to read a little snippet for you guys as well. So I'm going to allow her to set it up to let us know what she is going to read for us on today. And while she is preparing that, if you are just joining us, we are hanging out with Michelle Major on today. Her latest release, The Front Porch Club, is available now. And Michelle, you can share with us what you're going to read and set it up for us.
Awesome. So this is a scene that comes early in the book, and it is after, as you mentioned, Annalise ends up renting a garage apartment that she wants to believe is a little bit fancier than that from Shauna, but Shauna doesn't originally, she's had run-ins with Annalise, as have most people.
Right.
But so this is a scene where they've toured the apartment, her kids are there, they've had the big come down from their big house in the town, but then Flynn shows up, and he is definitely a blast from the past for Shauna.
Yes.
And so I picked this scene because it showed a little hint of Shauna's relationship with Flynn, but also of how their friendship sort of starts. So
Yes.
I had to put on my reading glasses for this. So So go in the house, boys. She looked over Flynn's shoulder and offered her sons a reassuring smile. I'll be right there. We want to stay, Timmy said. His voice shook with anxiety. How in the world was it that Flynn had managed to scare her babies half to death just by his presence? Because he was Flynn Murphy. She used to adore his menacing personality because she believed it would protect her, and it had against everything and everyone except himself. They turned and headed inside, but she didn't allow herself to meet Flynn's gaze until the door shut behind them. Go, she said. He didn't move, but she could feel the tension mounting. He inclined his head toward the house. I have more than I imagined to say to you. Those boys look like me. She locked her knees so they wouldn't buckle. So much for feeling safe. Just when she was getting comfortable in this town, her world came crashing down around her. She wanted to deny Flynn's words, but what was the point? With their flaxen hair, pale blue eyes, she knew would darken as they got older, and the mischievous smiles each boy flashed to get themselves out of trouble. Zach and Timmy did resemble their father. They looked like Flynn. Flynn took a small step toward her, maybe only an inch closer, but it felt like he'd invaded her space on every level. Don't lose it in front of him, she mentally told herself, and dug her fingernails into her palms in a feeble attempt to ground herself in something besides Flynn's overwhelming magnetism. I'm not leaving until you most certainly are leaving, a melodic voice said. A moment later, Annalise was at Shauna's side. She jabbed a finger with a chipped nail. Shauna wouldn't have expected that toward Flynn. I don't know who you are, mister, but you have no right to scare those boys and intimidate my friend here with all your. She waved a finger up and down. With all of you. You need to leave before we call the authorities. I haven't done anything, Flynn said through clenched teeth. His brows furrowed, and those soft lips that Shauna had loved against her skin drew into a terse line. Not yet. You're trespassing, Annalise insisted. I don't know what kind of cave you crawled out of, but that's against the law in Magnolia. Flynn lifted a brow at Annalise. Do you own this property? Shauna owns this house. I'm her tenant. Annalise shot a glance at Shauna as if she'd known she'd been about to tell her she wouldn't rent the apartment to her. Right? My tenant and my friend. Shauna Lee repeated Annalise's claim because when was the last time anyone had defended her? When was the last time she'd allowed it?
So I love it, guys. There you have it. That is a snippet of the front of Porch Club. One of my favorite scenes is well, I can just picture that because, guys, in my mind, Flynn is like huge.
He is huge.
And
yes.
I can just see Annalise like,
Okay.
I love that. I love that. Guys, oh my goodness, that is a snippet from the Front Porch Club as well. Tiffany of Tiff's Happy Place is saying, great snippet. Jennifer Wright is saying, wow. I know Jennifer Wright. It was a wow moment for me as well. I love that scene. It was one of my favorites. So, what I want to do next, Michelle, is we're going to do something a little different. We may do a round of this or that, but I want to do a little bit of word association. Okay. So I'm going to give you a word or a phrase, and I want you to share with us what's the first thing that comes to mind. Okay. So first word is mountains.
Colorado. Home.
Oh, okay. Okay. New beginnings.
Ooh. Creativity and good stories.
Oh, okay, Michelle. All right, second chances.
Second chances. I don't know how rated we are, but I'm thinking off the charts chemistry. When I think of I love second chance books because I love the chemistry between a hero and heroine who have a past.
I love that. I love that. All right, last one. Small town.
Small town, Magnolia, North Carolina.
Magnolia, yeah. I love that. I love that. Okay, so we are going to do a little bit of this or that. I
Okay,
promise you there is no right or wrong answer because it is all things according to Michelle Major. Are you ready, my friend?
I'm ready.
Okay, first up, audiobook or podcast?
Podcast for around the house, audiobook in a car.
Oh, okay. All right. Road trip or plane ride?
Plane ride.
Okay. Small town or big city?
Small town.
Okay. Beach, mountains.
Oh, I love the beach, but I have to say mountains because that is my happy place.
Okay. 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 Now we're gonna do a trope or two. Friends
Okay.
to lovers or enemies to lovers?
Ooh, I think enemies to lovers just because there's so much there.
Okay. Okay. Siblings best friend or secret baby?
Best friend. I love a
Okay.
sibling's best friend.
Okay. All right. And this one, Michelle, we gotta know here for the cafe. Okay. Are you
Ready.
team tea or are you team coffee? Team tea, team coffee.
I am team coffee, although
Okay.
this coming Wednesday, I'm taking my daughter who just graduated from high school to London for a senior trip. So I am going to be team afternoon tea all the way.
I love that. Super cool. Super cool. I love that. I love that. Guys, there you have it. That's Michelle Major's answer of this or that. And of course, guys, there is a giveaway. I'm going to allow Michelle Major to tell you what her amazing giveaway is going to be on today. Michelle?
Yes, I am going to give away. I'm going to send you a signed copy of the Front Porch Club along with the which I don't have in front of me, but the previous book that introduced some of these characters, The Wish
Oh,
List, which is a holiday book, and some fun swag thrown in. So two signed books and some a little prize package.
I love that. Michelle, love the giveaway. Guys, there you have it. You get a copy of the Front Porch Club. You get a copy of the wish list and some fun swag. And what we're going to do, Michelle, is I'm going to go up and down the comment section, my friend. You're going to tell me when to stop, and that person will be the winner of that amazing giveaway. Okay, let's see. Let me take these individuals down so it'll be fair for everybody. Okay, I'm ready, Michelle. Whenever you tell me when to stop.
Okay. And stop.
Okay, let's see. Tiff's Happy Place. You are the winner of that amazing giveaway. If you will inbox me your information, I'll be sure to get that over to Michelle Major for you as well. Michelle, oh my goodness, the time goes by so fast, my friend. It has
Yes.
been amazing hanging out with you, talking about the Front Porch Club. And so the last question that I want to ask you is that what did you enjoy about writing the Front Porch Club?
I I loved this book. Like I said, I loved the female friendships. I loved the romances, but this was one of those books that was like a gift to me where it doesn't always happen this way, where the story just flowed and I just felt like I knew these characters. And so it was just a joy to write. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you to all of the people who've been here with us and the comments. I just loved it so much. And the time went really fast, really fast.
I know, right? It totally did. It totally did. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Now, Michelle, I know they are on the edge of their seats and they want to know. You have to share with us, how can they get their hands on a copy of the Front Porch Club?
Yeah, well, it is available most places books are sold. Amazon, of course, the Harlequin website. If you are more a brick and mortar shopper, I actually was just doing grocery shopping in Walmart this morning, and my local Walmart, both of them have it. So I think wherever books are sold, you can find it.
I love that. I love that. And in addition to that, Michelle, thank you for sharing how they can get their hands on a copy of this amazing story, guys. I know that you're going to be so excited when you read it. It is an amazing story. And of course, once you finish it, definitely leave a review. I know that Michelle Major will be so appreciative of that as well. And speaking of that, Michelle, you have to share with the people, how can we stay connected with you?
Yeah, I would love for you to stay connected with me. You can find me on my website, which is michellemajor.com. I do a monthly giveaway with usually I have a prize in there that's exclusive for newsletter subscribers. And I am also on Instagram at Michelle Major Author and on Facebook at Michelle Major Books. And I do book news. We have a new puppy. I foster kittens. So it is just I like a lot of smiles.
I love that. And guys, we have put in the comment section of how you can stay connected with Michelle Major. Her website is www.michellemajor.com. Of course, she has a newsletter. Feel free to sign up for her newsletter as well for that. Follow her on social media. You can follow her that on that place as well. And Michelle, I want to allow you to have the last words of what you want to say to the people on today.
I just want to say, I mean, thank you for being readers, whether you are new to me or, I mean, I love Angela and everything you do. And every time I see one of your posts, you put a smile on my face. So just thank you guys. I think the romance community is one of the biggest benefits of being a writer of these books. So thank you.
I love that. I love that. And again, Michelle, thank you so much for hanging out with us on today. It has been an amazing time talking about your latest release, The Front Porch Club. Guys, Michelle has shared with us it is available where books are sold. So definitely get you a copy of this amazing story as well. Be sure to follow Michelle. And if you guys are watching via YouTube, thank you for watching us over there. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Angela Anderson YouTube. If you watch via Facebook, thank you for watching over there as well. And of course, if you sent stars on today, thank you for sending stars via Facebook. I appreciate that. If you would like to send stars, there's a shooting star where the comment section is. Feel free to send as many stars as you like. And again, I'm always so appreciative. Same thing. Again, I just want to remind you, once you read the book, definitely leave a review. And if you see it out in the wild or what have you, take a picture. Tag Michelle. If you have a copy of it, take a picture, tag her as well in that. I know that's always exciting to see that of where her book is in the world as well. So guys, as we always say, have an amazing day because we're having an amazing day. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. Get you a copy of The Front Porch Club. See you later.